every now and then. Come and take my hand.
Okay, so the next book I've been reading is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. And look at how cute this book is. It really fits my vibe. And like, this was also one recommended by the library staff based off of other books I've enjoyed. And round of applause to them because this is amazing. Pretty much this is a book that follows Emily Wilde, who is a researcher of Dryadology, I think is the study of fairies. I took notes, let me double check. So this is my little research book of shadows type thing. And I have a whole tabbed section dedicated to this book. So yes. Yes, Dryadology is the study of fairies, and I've learned so much from this book already. I'm not even halfway through yet, and it's just given me so much great information. I love learning about the fae and fairies. I've always felt a connection to them. I self-identify as a fairy. And so yeah, this has just been very comforting and like a pretty good escape and comforting escape from my day-to-day. So, and I also have this cute flower bookmark that I made that fits perfectly in it. But yes, so some notes I've taken so far. So they talk about things like fairy stones, which are perfectly rounded stones known to store enchantments for later use or gift giving. A crack in it means it is devoid of power. So I thought that this was very interesting. And they also give a source to reference if you want to know more about it, which I do. So I wrote it down. It says, read more in Danielle de Grey's 1850 Guide to Elf Stones of Western Europe. And so, yeah, it has just so much good information about Dryadology. I didn't even know this was a thing until I started reading this book, and it's just gotten me so just excited. I want to learn so much more about fae and fairies and Dryadology in general. But so far, it's following Emily as she visits a European island, I think, or like a European countryside. I can't remember where, but it's pretty desert. It's in like the, I would say, early 1900s, maybe late 1800s even. But yes, it's dark academia, and it just has so many like whimsical vibes and enchanting vibes within it. Again, the scene setting. I've learned one thing about me. I love a book with a good scene. If the author can like lay out a good scene and a good setting and I can be immersed in it and I can visualize it, I'm sold. Like, it's a great book already. But yeah, the scenes are beautiful. She explains like the mountain peaks, and I'm a Colorado girl, so I can definitely envision the peaks of the mountains on a beautiful European countryside. And yeah, and she is looking for a certain type of fae folk called the Hidden Ones. And I'm still kind of trying to figure out if this was a time, fictionally of course, where the fae and the fairies were more immersed and interactive with human life. I'm not too sure. The townsfolk references them as something to be wary of and something to kind of like steer clear of, because I mean, obvious reasons. It's kind of dangerous. And some of the fae folk are known to be a bit more vindictive than others. It kind of reminds me of A Court of Thorns and Roses, series where the Fae are like this dangerous, bloodthirsty species that sees humans as like a weaker being, and they enjoy just tormenting humans for fun. They gave me a hint of that in this book from one of the villagers that she's speaking to right now, where she's kind of just telling her, be careful, be wary, because some of the Fae folk do enjoy just tormenting humans for fun. So it gave me that. It gave me Amarantha. If you know, you know. But yeah, hopefully there is a lighter tone to this. I liked A Court of Thorns and Roses. I don't want this to turn into a review about that, but I like books about fairies. Anyways, I liked A Court of Thorns and Roses, but I just found it hard to digest certain aspects of it, that like when Claire got abducted and like they were describing the state of her body after being tormented by Amarantha in her court, like it just, I'm not very good with gore. So I hope that this book doesn't turn into that, and that it's more cozy scenery and like lighthearted vibes, because yeah, I just can't handle that right now. But hopefully I'm wrong and it just stays lighthearted and mysterious. I even think there might be a little bit of romance brewing here between one of the villagers and Emily. And so, yeah, I'm very interested to see how that relationship develops. I also enjoy hearing the like townsfolk stories and hearing about the scenes of the town. So yeah, this has been a very, very good read. More notes that I have. So I have the note about the fairy stones. 100 Islands theory is something that they mentioned in the book, and it says, this is the theory that each fairy realm exists on an entirely separate physical plane, which I have always been like taught to view the fairy realms and like the fae in general as being like this metaphysical, spiritual entity kind of thing that is not necessarily accessible to us in the physical realm. And so that's my understanding of the fae, but I guess this is kind of summarized by the 100 Islands theory, which I found very interesting. So I definitely want to look more into that. I also kind of have some of the fae folk written down. So the brownies are like the household spirits. They like a neat and tidy home. They bring good luck, helps with outdoor tasks, social, and they love people. Brownies, this idea of the brownies reminds me of The Borrowers, if you guys have ever seen that movie. Or what is that movie with the fairies in the attic? I can't think of it right now, but when I remember it, I'm gonna put it right here. But yeah, it reminds me of movies like that I grew up on, and I always found that concept so intriguing, like and Arrietty, The Secret World of Arrietty, if you guys have seen that Ghibli film. But yeah, it reminds me of that, and that's always been a very interesting theme for me to explore, because just the idea of like little people living in your house using inconvenient items for you for conveniency in their lives, I don't know, it's very interesting to me. So yeah, we got the brownies. I also wrote down the dryads. So these beings were very interesting to me. It says they're individually connected to trees. If their tree dies, they die. They're known to guide people to plant identification for healing properties. And dryad trees look as if they have a face. Touch their tree to communicate with them. So this was very interesting to me, because there was this tree when I was in elementary school. There was this tree on our playground. It didn't have a face, but it had two little bumps on it, and we called it the boob tree because it looked like it had two boobs. And it just reminded me of that. Like, maybe this was a dryad tree. I don't know. Probably not, but I don't know. It's very interesting to think about, because I come across trees that kind of look like something else in a way. and I always feel connected to trees. And it's just interesting to know that if they have kind of a recognizable symbolism, that maybe they are connected to a dryad. There's also a tree in my neighborhood park that I love to visit, and it's shaped like a heart. It's a tree stump, but and if this was a dryad tree, then the dryads are no longer there because the tree's been cut down. But it is shaped like a heart, so that could mean something. I don't know. I definitely want to do more research on dryads and also brownies, maybe even draw up some character designs for them. But yes, this book is just inspiring me so much. I love to light a candle and, just set the scene, set the vibe, light an incense, and lose myself in this world. But yes, 10 out of 10 so far. I will keep you guys updated on this.